I think this is everyone's favorite movie so far.
The Flcijm Network. Watch movies, we talk movies. Your online movie friends, the Flcijm Network.
Welcome to the Flcijm Network, our movie companion show, kind of to the Snack Network, where friends talk about movies. And hold on, it's not scratched off yet, Jeff, and it is not hung up. Our 100 bucket list movie posters. My name is Dave Moore. Joining me, of course, is electrical engineer Bing, by Jeff Daly by night. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
It's spectacular. Also joining us from all the way on the TikToks and Pretty Little Canes and other things. Shy, not so shy. Hi, Shy.
Hey.
Guys, we watched another bucket list movie this week, available on Netflix. It's called Blade Runner. It's from 1982. This is not the first time I've seen this movie. This is the second time I've seen this movie. And I will say right now, I disliked this movie more than I liked it the first time.
Cool.
Okay, you want to reword that? You say you disliked it more than you liked it?
Yep. I realized what I said.
Stick with it.
Yeah, I'm committed now, Jeff. I've dug the whole deep.
There's no going back.
Yeah, no.
You've dug your hole all the way down.
Yep, all the way back to Earth 2019. All right, how's everyone feeling? I'm shy.
Okay, so I really wanted to like this movie.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Like, I was really excited about the premise. I love sci-fi. Like, I was so excited, right?
Yeah.
But I was so bored.
Jeff.
It felt like, this is a great way to explain how I felt. It felt like I was just waiting for the next thing to happen. Like, something would happen, and then it felt like I was just waiting. And then the next thing would happen, and then I was just waiting. That's how this movie experience went.
I felt like
watching experience.
so it was like watching a movie in a fever dream. Multiple times I watched this with my wife. I was like, what is happening? Is this even real? Why is this happening? What is happening here? What is this?
Like, just what's going on?
All right.
And I was like, oh, cool, look at the visuals. What the heck is happening?
Where are we? Who is this? What does this mean? Is this a movie? Or is this just like weird course of events that take place where there's always smoke and it's always raining?
It's raining.
It's always
Always,
smoke.
why? Why is it always raining?
Because it's
What's
something
with the-
about it's actually in the universe. Climate change.
Yeah, it's got something to do with the
climate
planet.
change has gotten to a point where it's just constantly raining. Apparently,
Cute.
cute.
but let me tell you how crazy it is. Like, oh wow, flying cars. Oh wow, look at this. Like, oh, there's an Atari sign.
Oh,
Atari came back.
Oh wait.
you know.
Yeah. Oh wait.
Oh, look at those
Because-
CRT TVs.
Make sure. Hold on. Wait for it. We gotta play some dramatic synth music.
Dude, okay.
No,
the
the-
music is a whole nother category.
We'll get there.
It's a
That's
dystopian
a
future to where like there's flying cars. It's a near retro futuristic type area to where they have flying cars, but they have CRT TVs still that can somehow enhance 100 times. And they're payphones. They still have payphones, but it's a video payphone.
Yeah, man.
Where I was telling my wife, like, think about this thing. It was filmed in 82. It released in 82. It took place in 2019, 3 years ago, right before the COVID pandemic. I got married in November of 2019.
It's really funny where they thought we would be. Like,
But
listen though, because some of it is like, well, that's crazy, we're not there, and then some of it is like, we're way beyond that.
yeah, to where they made the weird artistic choice, like, oh yeah, flying cars, but the CRTVs, that is the peak of technology.
Yeah,
In 82, we are at the current peak that TVs will ever be at. It's
I
not
think-
going to go up from here.
I think they did a pretty decent job, though, of this. This is where I feel with this whole thing, guys. If you haven't watched Blade Runner, just go watch it. It's an essential movie. I don't know if we're gonna praise it, but I think it's an essential sci-fi movie in the list of essential sci-fi movies. So, if you're not prepared for us to spoil it, tune out now. Come back, hit the like button. You know how this works.
I will say it's an influential movie in dystopia and sci-fis.
I think they did a very good job of presenting an alternate future that didn't feel like if the events of history had played out differently, we couldn't have gotten here by 2019. Not that we got even close, nor is this even realistic at all, nor does 2019. It seems like they should have said this further in the future, but
Yeah.
if events played out, here's my thing about like upcoming science fiction. If you set it in the future, but you only skip ahead like 30 years, like people are going to be alive, man. like, like all the young adults who saw this movie, right? Even the young teenagers who saw this movie in theaters who probably shouldn't have, right? Like are going to grow up.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be that old when you get to that point in time.
There are old people today who were old when that movie came out. Like the oldest people in the world, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like my grandparents are 90. Like,
So that's what happened. They had an oh shit moment in 2017. That's why they had to come out with Blade Runner 2049. Skip ahead another 30 years.
right.
I had to, yeah.
Just to make
But
sure.
I didn't watch.
None of us watched it yet. I am curious to watch it. I
heard it's actually really good.
I've heard
I'm
nothing.
sure it is because time, you know.
So the couple things. So I get that this is an artistic piece. The visuals were pretty great at some points,
The world is very cool to look at. Like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
but it's hard to look at when it's always raining.
I honestly don't even care about the rain. I just
I'm just ready. Hold on.
I just it's so like I said, I'm just waiting. And then when something does happen, I don't really get it.
No,
Like,
no,
this-
That's
the
it.
problem.
Yeah, that's exactly a shine.
That's the whole point. That's the whole problem. Is like you're watching this and it feels disjointed to where scenes are happening and it's following a detective. But I feel like I have to be a detective to even understand what's going on.
That part, yeah.
Like
That part.
the scene of the movie where they visit the genetic engineer and the igloo type thing, and the one guy is just like they're questioning him, and the one guy is just placing eyeballs on the genetic engineer. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was
Why don't
weird.
I understand this?
No, none of us do. Like no one knows what
That
happened.
was so weird. I still don't know what happened.
I think a lot of this is literally for the sake of being weird.
Or there's a scene where he's like, tracking down the synthetic snake scale, right? Which gives him to a gentleman's club, right? And then he starts questioning her. She beats him up. He goes and shoots him. And he's like, well, congratulations on killing that synth. I was like, oh, that person was a replicant. Oh, they didn't say that at all.
But they did, because they showed you like he's gonna go hunt down these 3 replicants, but they don't linger on that point at all well enough for you to even realize that
But I thought
we
he
know
just went there first to question her, right?
Yeah.
Why were you at the scene of the crime? No, she's a full-blown replicant.
Also, I don't know that I understand the questioning eye retina test at all. I don't think I get it. I don't.
So basically, when they do when they question a replicant, they look for certain nuances in the eye dilation during questioning and the responsiveness of things during questioning to see if they're
Right.
human.
But their retinas don't
Yeah.
respond in the way that humans do. Except I
Yeah.
don't feel like I ever got a
guess.
clear explanation of what they're supposed to do, to whether I can
no.
I
tell.
mean, they said a bunch of mumbo jumbo in the
Right.
beginning, involuntary dilation of the eye or whatever the fuck, and that was supposed to be our explanation. Like, okay, that if that stuff happens, then they're whatever the word is, variant. No, variant. Viruses.
Go back to Loki.
And
Although,
Loki, my bad.
back on Loki for a moment, like Loki, a lot of Loki's visual language is very inspired by Blade Runner, like 80s sci-fi stuff. Like that is the look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's the problem in this movie. I feel like they left it as vague as possible, to where I had to try to understand the movie as it was happening.
and that's kind
Honestly,
of. Go ahead, Shaq. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'd really love to read the books because I feel like I'll get all the information. Like I'll get what I wanted from this movie because the premise is very cool, right? Super cool premise. But like, should someone read like the synopsis in case people don't know what the heck is going on? Jeff?
Like us.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
wanna
this.
read the synopsis.
I've
real
seen
quick,
this
just so we
movie.
can have it within the show.
I've seen this movie twice. I went back and watched a recap right before we recorded this just to make sure that I have this right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't. When I was 16 or whatever I was the first time I saw it, I thought, holy shit, this is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Right? Like, is he a replicant? He could be. That's wild. Is that a potential reality? Like the thought process that my brain went through at 16 was like, holy crap, that's a cool idea. And now I watch it and go, I don't know if it's like that questionable. Like, really, just everything in this movie is questionable. Like, I'm not even really sure if like anything cool actually happened or if it was literally intentionally confusing just to be confusing. Right? Like, and
It kind of feels like that more than half the time.
yeah, and
Are you just fucking with me now? Like, this is just to be this.
I don't know. Like, yeah, exactly.
I know there's like something about like I know like people have analyzed this movie for years, and I'm sure there was an artistic vision, and I'm sure the books probably do give some better explanations, but I feel like
The books are probably great.
I'm sure
That's
the
probably
books
what inspired them to make the movies.
I'm sure
the
the
books are probably great.
they're probably great, but they're probably boring as shit. Right?
Maybe.
Because no one talks about them. They feel like Star Wars extended canon. Like there are a couple books that people are like, these are the greatest Star Wars stories ever told in the history of man. If you read these books, I'm a super nerd. Congratulations, here you go. Right? But there's like thousands of Star Wars books to read.
There's so many. I own like 6 of them.
Yeah, right.
And I've only read like 3.
But no one talks
every time
about.
I do, but I will say that every time I do pick up one and read it, I have a blast. Like it's always a fun time.
No
like,
one's
it's
ever
a cool story, well written.
Do you know what the Blade Runner book is, right?
It has a different name.
Question.
Jeff has it
Oh,
up.
it does?
Yeah,
It's a famous movie, or it's a famous book. It's a famous book. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Huh.
yeah.
Interesting.
It's not called Blade Runner.
Oh, well, that's
Oh.
No one
Weird.
talks about it. Is my point. It's like people talk about this.
Androids dream of a. Oh, because of the whole counting sheep thing.
Yeah.
Is that where it comes from?
Yep.
That's interesting.
But I will say, just this entire movie, the visuals were cool, but I was a little bit put off. I did not think the acting was great at all. I think the acting,
It feels like an 80s sci-fi movie.
Awkward.
It's
it was awkward.
Yeah, it was very 80s awkward for sure, 100%. I can think of one scene in particular that was extremely awkward for me.
Was it the
anyway.
fight scene between Deckard and the replicant?
It was the girl. It's
Oh.
the scene between Deckard and the girl.
Oh yeah, that scene, which would probably not be a movie nowadays,
No,
where
yeah,
he
no.
prevents her from leaving and says, "Say I want you."
Yeah, that was so rapey. It was so rapey.
In the
Yes.
80s, that was not rapey, though.
Yeah.
That's a
guess,
product
but
of
then
the
you don't know
time.
if she's saying it
It's-
because she actually wants to or because she feels like she has to. I
No.
guess they.
I know,
I
right?
guess
That's
it's
so-
supposed to.
The worst
thought
the
of my
worst
life is
part the worst part
snappy.
the worst part of scenes like that is that they've recut this movie 3 times, including the last one being in like 2017. They recut it. That's the final cut, though, or it's 20. Is it
And
2000?
they kept that shit.
Yeah,
But
they.
it's the movie would make less sense if they did not.
I
keep
don't
it.
think so. I think it would
Well,
still
yeah,
not make
they
sense.
have to because it's like the only part of the love story that.
Yeah, it's the only part of the love story. They have to keep that scene in. There's no other scenes to explain why Rachel would be in that apartment. at the end of the
Except for the alternate ending from the original theatrical cut, which has footage from.
What was the alternative? Well, no,
Okay,
not the alternative.
So at
What was
the
I'd
the
have to see
original
it.
ending?
So at the end, I looked this up. I didn't watch it. I didn't go above and beyond. I
Okay,
just Googled
okay,
it.
okay.
They took a scene that was shot for another movie. Oh, it's for The Shining. It was a scene from The Shining. Okay. Of
Okay,
overlooking
fun.
these brightly colored hills, Jeff. And Harrison Ford gives a like a narration about how him and Rachel can be in love, but they don't know how long it will last, except does anybody really know how long we'll be in love for? Like, they said she couldn't die, but we couldn't live forever or something. Like, that's the original theatrical cut, is they go away into the sunset together.
I mean,
Well, that's kind of what
okay.
they did here.
Is it though?
No, they get into the elevator and it's left up to question. It doesn't end with a narration from Harrison Ford saying that.
Especially with Gaff or Goff leaving that origami thing there.
You also show a scene without rain in it at the end of the movie. That doesn't make any sense.
I just, oh God,
I want to like
This
it too,
movie-
Shy.
I want to like it so bad.
I want to say this whole movie leads up to the end where he fights the last guy, Roy.
Yeah.
And it's the most unhinged, crazy, ridiculous fight scene I've ever watched in my entire life.
It's insane. It makes no sense.
It's supposed to be.
Like, what the hell?
First off, the fight leading up to it where he fights the one girl has him in like a headlock where replicants
Oh.
are stronger than guys, and all of a sudden she just like lets him go, runs to the other side of the room, and does gymnastics towards him again. Like,
Yeah,
Why
she
did you do
starts
that?
like cartwheeling and shit.
And I can't tell if she's like not wearing like an appropriate amount of. I don't know what's going on.
she's
It
wearing,
looked like
a-
she was in like a unitard,
Right.
and then just like
But the only thing I
because
could
what
talk
it is it's a stunt double. They got an actual gymnast to come in and do some freaking roundhouses and
not
cartwheels. and
like
shit.
they needed to because the acting they
Yeah.
could on the gym the stunt double to do the acting. It would have been the same amount of acting.
It would have been the same. It would have
And
been.
And then when he shoots her, I only chalk it up to where she's malfunctioning and not thinking clearly, right? They're at the end of their life, they're not thinking clearly, and he shoots her twice, and then she just thrashes about.
Well, yeah, and she's like screaming bloody murder the whole time.
But she's
is
a
also
robot.
just- no, she's a replicant, Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's so different.
It is.
There's
It's
bleeding
different.
real
It's
blood.
different.
It is different.
It's different.
But to also chalk it up, the thing I couldn't answer at the end that I had a question for is if these replicants escaped and they were at the end of their life, 4 years, and they're going to die anyway, why did they ask this guy to hunt them down to kill them?
Yeah,
If
they're
they-
gonna die.
They're also on a basically inhabitable version of Earth. Like, there's no one there.
I guess because they don't want, because they know that the replicants get crazy towards the end, and they don't want them going around killing people and shit.
Let me tell you, that fight scene at the end is the most. It's supposed to be
It's so
tense.
weird.
The entire thing is like, I couldn't help but laugh when the guy bashed his head through the wall, was talking to him with his head in the wall.
That I was so I was so confused. Listen, and Jeff, you know what's funny about this is you can see, right?
Yeah.
So I can't. So like, well, I can, but I can't. So like, I saw that his head was like in the wall, but I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's happened? It was so confusing.
It was
As someone, this movie would really benefit from some audio description.
I think it would sound even more unhinged with audio description.
I wouldn't know though, Shy.
At least I would know everything that's happening because I'm only getting like pieces.
Can you imagine watching an igloo scene and they're talking, all of a sudden AD kicks in like, and this guy places eyeballs in the guy's shoulder and they fall off.
Yeah, that's why I want it, Jeff. That's exactly why I want it so bad, Shy. I'm so mad that this movie has been done several times. It has gone through rigorous recuts by the studio. It has a sequel that came out not that long ago, and no one has gone back and added
audio description. Though I think
I think it has to.
It does. Yeah, I think it has to now.
But I don't.
Laws and shit.
Well, right, but the law needs to revert to some of these really important movies,
The
like
old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
if you're gonna go back and re-release it right now, like they did with this, right? Like you need to do that.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing about this entire last scene, it's like 20 minutes long. This guy chasing Deckard. Deckard does not say a word. Harrison Ford does not say a word in those 20 minutes, right? In those 20 goddamn minutes. And then this guy's chasing him, spewing out the craziest thing I've ever heard. That wasn't fair that you hit me. That's against the rules. As Deckard's literally scaling a building, as the other guy's just going up the stairs. Like why is Deckard scaling a building? He could have just gone up the stairs. To where at the end, Deckard gets saved by Roy, Deckard's about to fall off the building. And out of the entire scene, then Roy sputes the greatest, death, monologue, one of the greatest death monologues in film history.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
Then he dies. And I'm sitting there wondering, what the hell was all that?
I don't get it. But that shit that he said, something about tears...
Hey,
rain. I love
people.
that shit. It was
I do too.
It was a nice line, but I was like, okay.
Yeah. What are we? The memories are just like rain, like that, and it's very much like people say it's one of the greatest death monologues.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good one.
It's
I
a
would
really
give it to my drama students, and if I taught high school or something.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I saw this movie.
Good one. If you just show that, not the preceding 20 minutes, to where the guy who just said that put a spike through his hand and hit his head through a wall, or put punch through a wall to grab the guy's thing and just cut off break two of his fingers and give him back the gun.
So weird. Dave, go.
Do we think that Deckard is a replicant, guys? Because none of us have seen the sequel, which is supposed to give us a better, clearer explanation of what is there. Do we think?
Man, I think they're all friggin' replicants. I think all the humans left the planet and they're fucking around with these robots now.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think Deckard's a replicant. I think the first time I saw this movie, which is probably the original theatrical cut, honestly, because I saw it in high school on VHS. I think it was more unclear. I think it felt more openly possible that he wasn't human. I feel like he is human. It's questionable for the sake of being questionable, just like every scene in the whole entire movie.
I feel like I want it to be that he's a replicant and everybody's a replicant and there's only a elite few humans on there and they're all just pushing buttons and running shit, because I feel like that's cool. The problem with my experience watching this movie is I don't actually give a shit whether he's a replicant or not, and I should.
That's the other thing, is I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be rooting for. at all. Like, I think, do I want him to get the replicants, or do I just want to see the replicants do crazy shit? I don't know. I honestly don't know what I want. I would like us to stop cutting between random scenery with rain and smoke and dramatic 80s synth music, and then
and a storyline that doesn't get pieced together that well.
I swear to God, the coolest scene in the movie is still the first scene when he's questioning the guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I still think that's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, but it feels like interesting, and I want more of that.
So I don't think Decker is a replicant, just because the fact is, why would they have a replicant whose sole duty was to hunt down and just kill their replicants?
Because it'd be easy.
There was a Blade Runner video game that came out in the 90s where there were 3 endings, and one of the endings is the Blade Runner ended up being a replicant and he fled the city. But anyway,
I like the question of identity. Like, he doesn't even know he's a replicant if he is a replicant. Like, he's questioning his insanity has been driven so far that he doesn't even know if he is or isn't. Which is,
well, it's like that girl Rachel. He was like, they were like, oh, she doesn't actually know that she's a replicant.
Yeah, that
like that in itself. And he said she was an experiment and all of that, but that in itself opens the door that there could be other replicants running around who have no idea that they're replicants.
Which is fascinating and interesting, but I still don't care.
That's the best trope of the whole movie. Is you don't know with the introduction of Rachel who is a replicant, who isn't.
Yeah. It's weird, man. It's a weird one.
But at no point in that entire movie did I know what the replicants, what their objective was.
To not die. They were, I mean, what objective could they have, right? Like, they were created for whatever purpose. And
sexual relations, Shy. The answer was sexual relations because
that's the answer.
This is an 80s sci-fi movie.
Yeah, that's why they were created. But so like, their only real thing that they want is to be able to actually be allowed to live outside of 4 years. That's all they want.
But it's crazy that that Tyrell was with them. He's like, I wish I could help you. And then Roy's like, there's nothing we could do. And Roy just like kissed him and is like, I'm going to kill you now. And just killed him and walked away. I'm like, what is this scene?
So weird.
I don't know what we're watching. I honestly don't know what this movie is. I don't I get it. It was probably wild in 1982 when you saw this. You're like, I don't even know what we just watched.
The wildest part about this whole movie, the JB guy, his 2 friends that he created, that were the wildest midgets I've ever seen. And they were like prominent, like one had a huge nose, and they were just walking around.
That was wild.
It's weird, dude. It is a weird movie.
And then the midget, the small people, the little people. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Little people.
Let's be politically correct, although I don't.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Okay.
The little people gang that stole parts off Deckard's car.
Oh yeah, that was
as he was in the car.
And pointless. What the fuck was the point of that?
To be weird. To give us another weird moment to sit here and go, what was that? Why did that happen?
Was that just to get him to drive away? Like, I don't...
Never, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm so talkative. Never in my life have I ever wanted to love a movie more and come out not loving the movie.
I sat down going, I remember this being great. I remember being blown away by this movie. I'm so glad I get to watch it as an adult who understands critical thinking and like watching a movie that I don't know. And so halfway through this movie, you know, somebody has to go pee or whatever, stop. And I go back to look at our list of movies. I'm like, good thing probably next week we're not going to watch a weird movie like this one. And then I looked at what the next movie is. It couldn't even have gotten weirder. Oh God.
I'm scared.
Jeff, are there any fun facts we should know about this movie?
Yeah, it's weird.
Anything interesting?
Um, Harrison
that out.
Ford. Harrison Ford was the main actor about it.
Oh yeah, Harrison Ford was in it. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say
Solo.
He had like
This-
15 lines in the whole movie.
They all only have 15 lines. Oh, can we talk about the enhanced scene? Because we brought it up and then we didn't talk about
Oh
it.
my gosh.
What the frick are we watching?
It was 10 minutes.
It is.
I was telling my wife, can you imagine looking at the script writer watching it? It's 10 minutes of him just saying enhance, pan, enhance.
Enhance. It's 16,
God, that
16
was
through 25.
awful.
What is that?
I
Like-
tuned out, dude. I guess it was supposed to like show us that everything, like you can just talk to your technology and it fucking does stuff for you. I guess that was the point of that. I don't know.
Yeah, but like even he seemed bored.
He did. Well, he seemed bored the entire time.
But that's kind of his MO. Like
That's sort of his vibe.
but like that
It's
scene
just to seem bored.
that scene in particular was horrendous. Like what are we doing? Like
God. What? Why are we here right now?
Why are we
Can get to the point of what? Imagine if you threw on an episode of like Bones or Criminal Minds, and they're like zooming into like some bug or some shit, and that's like 15 minutes of your 30-40 minute episode is just like, okay, go left. Okay, now zoom in more. Okay, stop. Okay, go right.
we've recut this movie several times and no one thought, hey, maybe we should cut that scene down a little bit. like no one was like, we could cut half this out. I'm not sure what they were showing us.
Who knows?
I,
Who knows?
like was there something that we were supposed to be like, oh, he revealed? Like I don't think so. Like
I don't know. What did he end up zooming? What was the end result of that? What did he see on the screen?
yeah, Jeff, what did he see? Where the blind people are asking.
Yeah, 'cause
Wait,
I
the
have no
final
idea.
result of that enhanced scene?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It was literally the snake lady. It was a picture of the
Oh,
snake
God.
lady.
Yeah, I saw that part.
Oh, wait, did you say that the enhanced video was so clear when it printed out the picture was like in 10 pixels. Like, it was way less enhanced than the TV.
Stop.
It's so good.
No, so here's a couple facts.
Okay.
Okay, facts. Go.
The only cut that Ridley Scott had a direct control over besides original was the final cut.
Right.
All the other cuts were done by the other people that were involved.
Including the director's cut,
Yeah,
Even
including the director's cut.
which he's the
The
director.
director did not have control over that cut.
Hilarious.
There was a voiceover that Harrison Ford did in the director's cut to try to explain the movie more, like in a narration. It was a narration, and the final cut, it was so panned the narration because Harrison Ford purposely made it sound bad. Then they removed it
Nice.
because Harrison Ford believed that Ridley Scott didn't want this narration anyway, so he didn't try.
Okay. I mean,
Ridley
probably
Scott-
didn't want it.
Ridley Scott did not read the book that it was based on.
Oh, that's cool. Love that.
So
I
he did
love
not read the
That's like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It doesn't make any sense. No one read the book. Apparently. Great.
There is a book called The Blade Runner, and they based the title of the movie based on just the title of The Blade Runner. Has nothing to do with the book.
Good. Good God. Okay.
Cool. Love that. That's great. Fun
So
times.
there's two books. One that it's supposed to be based on that has nothing to do with it that no one read. And then there's another book that they named the movie after that's not related to the other book. Fantastic.
That's completely
Now,
unrelated.
Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep actually has Deckard in it and everything. So it is in the same universe, and it has the same plot.
But no one read it.
The Ridley Scott did not.
Okay, the director of the movie didn't read the book. Maybe the screenwriter read some of
He
it.
couldn't even have listened to the freaking audiobook.
It was
It was
1982.
It was the 80s. He would have had to get them on tape, but it's
Yeah.
still.
You mean on wax cylinders?
Yeah, I guess so.
Vinyl audiobooks.
I mean, I wonder when they started making audiobooks. That's an interesting question.
That is interesting.
I'm gonna Google it
Okay.
right now.
Later. I want to read the Electric Sheep book.
Oh God, nightmare.
So, do we think this movie belongs on this poster?
Oh wait! The most memorable line where
Oh,
the last replicant died. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. It was an improvised. It was improvised. So the
Oh,
best
wow.
line
Well,
in
good
the
job.
movie was improvised.
that's
Good
good.
job, that one actor. Proud of you.
Good job. We
The
applaud
Who's
you.
guitarist Pete Townsend was approached to write the film score.
He was approached, but who actually did it?
Generic.
Townsend declined.
Okay, let's talk about the score for a minute.
Let's do it.
I love the score. Like
It followed the movie.
It belongs there, but I also just hate it. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Is that possible?
like,
So,
like,
I love it. It's very much 80s, trying to be cool, trying to be sci-fi,
and
and it's very much like fits the mood, I guess, but it's also just so awkward
yeah,
and strange. But so is the movie. So like it makes sense.
yeah, like it works, but I don't like it.
Like I don't know that I would throw that on as background music while I study. You know what I mean?
Dustin Hoffman was supposed to be was Scott's original choice to play Rick Deckard.
If there's a music
I
person
don't
out
think it would
there,
have mattered who who was Deckard.
somebody please go sample Jeff's sounds and make us the new theme song, please.
Yeah, true.
I expect somebody
Perfect.
to sample this
I'm
now.
obsessed. No, it's
Yeah.
great.
I'll send you the raw wave files if you want them.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
I have come to the conclusion that as much as Harrison Ford is a respected actor and a well-known actor,
Yes.
I think he is a dated actor. I don't necessarily think he's a great actor.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what
How
you
many
guys
roles
think.
did he have before this movie?
A lot. Indiana Jones, Star Wars.
Indiana Jones was okay. I know Star Wars was before this, but Indiana Jones too. I don't know when Indiana Jones came out.
Yeah, I don't know
No,
the-
you're right. Indiana Jones came out. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out a year before this one.
Okay. I mean, he's better in those movies than he is in this.
I would argue that you would think
shots
that
fired.
you would think that, but I remember. I mean, Indiana Jones is great, but I don't think he's necessary. It's a product of the time for as far as
I mean,
acting
he's a
goes.
fun time he's not awful in Star Wars. Like I like him in Star Wars. Now, so
I don't-
old
I hesitate-
acting. For me, there's like when I think of acting, right? There's like a style that comes with like 70s and 80s that's different from like 60s and 50s, right? I really like 60s and 50s acting. It was very much like it's very plosive, very in your face. All the emotions were big, and then you got to like 70s and 80s, and it was very like not that. It's like they were trying to get away from like the cartooniness,
But
and they
they
were trying to
hadn't-
chill everything down.
But they hadn't quite figured it out yet, which is why
Then you got to like 90s, and we kept going on, and now acting is like super cool, right? Like when an actor is a good actor, they're a good actor now. But back then, when an actor was a good actor, the art form has evolved.
a lot.
Is what I'm saying. So I feel like for his time, he did really well in Star Wars. I don't think he did well in this movie.
I think this movie is a crazy movie.
Yep.
Yeah, that part.
I think this movie has some good visuals and sets a good plot or sets a good setting. The plot and everything about it. It's like I'm missing everybody's motives in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just wandering around aimlessly. Like we're following this guy, which kind of helps, but at the same time does not at all. Like it just feels like we're getting thrown in there.
The real question I have for you that brought up with Rachel Rachel, with her having the memories of somebody else, if she
Yeah.
dies, do you think would if she died like with her having a whole lifetime of memories in her,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
is it like a life well lived? If you have memories that are exactly like years and years and years of memories, but you
I
only
guess
die when
for
you're like 4
her-
years old.
I guess for her, it would feel like she's been around for the amount of time, whatever age she's biologically.
But she's
supposed to
still
be.
she's not supposed to die within 4 years. They say that. We just don't know how long. That's in the
Yeah,
the
we have
original
no idea
theatrical
how
cut.
long she's gonna last because she's an experiment, so
Right.
nobody knows.
Right.
But even if she dies in 10 years, but she has 80 years, 60 years of memory, to her, it feels like she's experienced all 60 years.
Yeah, which is cool to her, I guess. But she would know factually that she hasn't, and that's got to be really conflicting.
What's interesting about the implanting of false memories is that they're also capable of creating new memories.
Yeah,
Because
because
it's sci-fi. Like,
it's sci-fi. See, that's and this conversation that we're having right now, and the fact that it's sci-fi and shit like that is what made me want to love this movie.
right.
Is the potential of it. But then I've watched it, and it was just a mess.
I'm gonna say something.
All right.
Out of all the movies so far that we've watched, this is my least favorite movie.
Whoa.
What was the first one we watched again?
The Shawshank Redemption.
Jeff's
Oh,
favorite
no, I liked that. Okay.
Jeff's favorite movie of all time.
So this is probably my least favorite as well. I really liked The Shawshank. I really liked
12 Angry Men.
The Dark Knight.
12 Angry Men was awesome. The Dark Knight, we talked about it already, but I definitely like it better than this movie, for sure.
Then The City of God.
I would say that this... Oh, and City of God.
Pulp
But I
Fiction.
can't really pass judgment on City of God because I technically didn't watch it. Technically. Because I couldn't. That was because I couldn't, okay? That wasn't me being a slacker.
It's not their fault. It's their fault, not yours.
Yeah. So technically, yes, this is also my least favorite movie that we've watched so far.
I don't like The Dark Knight either.
I could watch The Dark Knight 10 times before I watch this movie again.
Yes, Dave. I will say that I could watch The Dark Knight infinitely more times and feel like I've gotten a lot more out of that movie.
All right, you're right. I can watch The Dark Knight again, but I don't like either one. As long as I don't have to watch Batman Begins again. And I know how it's my fault.
I told you to watch that in the first place.
No, nobody said that at all.
You did that to yourself.
Well, if you guys thought, did we think this movie belongs on this poster? I question.
No. Star Wars came out before it. Star Wars already did the whole
Star Wars is on
pioneering sci-fi.
Yeah,
Star
but
Wars
it's not.
existed.
This is a dystopian type future.
I know.
I want Logan's
but
run.
don't.
I want Logan's run on this poster instead. I think.
I don't want it. I just don't want it. I don't want it. It was not a good. It was a very visually appealing movie, and that's it.
It's
That's
fascinating.
all I got. That's all
Logan's
I got. I don't
Run?
think it belongs.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
Never watched that movie.
I haven't seen that movie either.
I'm not adding it to the list because it doesn't belong on this poster either. But I'd rather have it here than this.
Okay, well I'm not. It's a no for me. This is my first no.
Which is crazy because it is highly regarded in the way that it is. But like, I agree. I
feel like the thing that I think suffers the most about this is, especially in today's day and age, there is little to no explanation about the events that are happening in this movie.
I want motive, and I don't care. I don't care if
No
it's
exposition.
positive
We don't know
or-
why we're here. We don't know we don't know why they're here. We don't know anything. We know nothing.
There's one title card in the beginning that literally Rachel read aloud to me, right? And I just laughed. I just laughed out loud. How nonsensical the entire opening like explanation of the world is. Like it's not enough, and you literally spit out enough nonsense about corporations I don't understand to be like, good luck, here you go, dropping you in.
I'm curious to know what that said, because obviously I don't know what it said.
It has been named the second most visually influential movie of all time, as far
Okay,
as visuals are
sure.
concerned.
Sure.
So should it be on? Because what is the bucket list? No, I still don't want it on the list, because it's not a most influential movies. It's bucket list movies, and this movie does not belong on anybody's bucket list. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
I feel
The
like if you were,
dialogue and music in Blade Runner has been sampled in music more than any other film in the 20th century.
I feel like if you were there in the 80s, you would feel like this belongs on this poster. But if you've watched, movies like Ex Machina and a bunch of other modern sci-fi, you can look at this and go, I don't know, man. Like, I think we've gotten, the influence of this movie is undeniable, but I think we've gotten better things since.
Yeah.
So there was a curse that revolved around this movie. A lot of the logos of the big corporations at the time were featured in this movie, and they all had financial setbacks after the movie.
Like Atari?
Bell, Coca-Cola, Cuisinart, Pan Am, and RCA were all featured as logos in this movie.
Three of those still exist now. So
only
I'm sure
Coca-Cola and Cuisinart recovered.
Atari put out a console in like 2019 that no one bought.
Atari declared bankruptcy soon after this movie.
Yeah, Atari didn't. Atari definitely died.
Atari died and has tried to come back several times and never will.
Yeah,
But
I have a special place in my heart for Atari. But anyway, yeah. So wait, what was that other one? RC.
Atari, Bell, Coca-Cola, Cuisinart, Pan Am, and RCA.
Yeah, RCA. I thought I'd heard of them.
the
No,
Coke,
they also did.
the Coke logo,
Obviously, Coke and Cuisinart survived.
the Coke logo, I laughed at when I saw it. I just thought it was weird. Like, it just felt out of place. The Atari logo felt like, all right, we're in '82. Like, I get it.
The Cybertruck.
Yeah,
was
I guess
inspired
they
by
put
this
it
film.
in because the hope was that Atari would still exist in the future in 2019.
Yeah, but the big, like, this was part of like, this movie came out during the major arcade crash of the 80s. Like, the NES was 1 year away. Like,
What's crazy is in 2022, IGN has named Blade Runner the second greatest sci-fi movie of all time.
followed by what? Please.
Star
Star Wars.
Star Wars, probably.
Star Wars is a fantasy movie. It's not a sci-fi movie.
No, it's a
It's
sci-fi
both.
movie.
I just
It's
I just like saying shit that makes people start typing comments. Okay.
It's definitely both.
It's
I will say that the visuals are stunning in this, but I think it definitely suffers from just
Everything else that makes the
disheveled
movie
plot.
important.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
well,
Plot,
if you guys
Oh
think,
no, number one, Dave.
Yeah.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
No, I've never seen Space.
which I
Odyssey.
don't think is on this poster.
Maybe they should have put that here instead.
Yeah, probably. Guys, if you thought this plot was disjointed, our
Oh god, I'm scared. I'm scared.
our next movie is a cult classic, which is always a good sign.
People are saying that the Blade Runner is every time you watch a movie, you catch a different thing in the movie. I'm just saying, this time I watched it, I was not impressed.
Maybe if they had some audio
Jeff, I'd like you to
description, I would
prepare.
I think I know how it's influential, but I just don't. It's not one of my favorite movies.
I'd like you to prepare, Jeff, to be the synopsis for our next movie, which is A Clockwork Orange. Please pull up the synopsis, Jeff.
Please.
I
'cause
feel
don't know
like I
anything
could
about
just, I literally could just spew out words right now, and it would be close to
it. No,
synopsis.
pull up the synopsis. I want to know what it says.
Oh yeah, no, you want to know what it says because it's great.
I do,
'Cause
I
it's
need
gonna,
to.
It's gonna be, it's nonsense.
God.
Jeff's right. He could just spit out words, and it would be equivalent.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Do
And
it.
in England of the future is a dystopian movie as well. Alex and his droogs spend their nights getting high at the Korova Milk Bar before embarking on a little of the old ultra-violence, while jauntily warbling Singing in the Rain after he's jailed for bludgeoning the cat lady to death. Alex submits to behavior modification technique to earn his freedom. He's conditioned to abhor violence. Returned to the world defenseless, Alex becomes the victim of his prior victims.
Okay, so I
He becomes the victim of his prior victims. Does that make
so
sense?
I get it. However,
Oh, you get the first sentence? Alex, in an England of the future, Alex and his fellow droogs spend their night on getting high at the Korova Milk Bar before embarking on a little of the old ultra-violence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just translating it in my head, right? So him and his thug friends are out getting high, and then they go fuck up some shit. That's what that means. Is that not what that means?
Here's the thing about being blind. I think we do this, Shy, is we get really good at listening to like things and translating them in our heads, like auditory learning. Like is definitely like something we just accept as a reality. That's exactly what that means, but it's still nonsense.
It's still nuts though. But like I understood all of it, right? So he gets incarcerated, and I guess one of the things that they do is they reprogram your brain because dystopian, right? So he's reprogrammed to like abhor violence, right? That made sense. That actually kind of made sense when he read it.
Oh, wait till you watch this movie. It won't make any sense, I assure you.
No, I'm sure it won't. So then he goes off and he's like, goody two shoes, I'm afraid of violence, and all his people that he beat up when he was thugging are gonna be all like, hey, fuck you beat us up, and they're gonna come after him, but he doesn't do violence anymore, so we gotta watch him deal with that. That's what that means, which sounds great, but I'm sure that the movie itself is going to be a mess.
I will tell you, this movie, in the first scene, I know the first few scenes, is very triggering.
Oh yeah, no, this is a rough movie. This is not a.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I'm checking iTunes right now because
it is on HBO Max.
That's the thing that's always hard is where it's on HBO Max?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if it has AD, because if it does not.
Probably not. Probably not.
No, probably not, but
is this another 80s film?
It's a 71 movie.
Oh, okay. So that 70 so the acting should be interesting. Okay.
We just rule it out. It's not going to have anything accessible at all. It is rated R. It has been remastered in 4K.
If it was rated anything but R, I would have questions.
So what is it called? A Clockwork Orange?
A Clockwork Orange.
Which is a great title. It makes so much sense.
Look, it makes.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
He just exhaled into the mic.
It has been remastered in 4K with Dolby Atmos. It has subtitles and whatever SDH is, which I don't even know what that means.
SDH.
Standard definition.
DH. What's the H stand for?
If it was SHD.
Oh, SDH is subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing.
Oh. But it already said it had subtitles.
It's our subtitles that combine the information of both captions and subtitles.
Oh, because that and we have two separate classifications for that, but no AD. Fantastic.
But no AD. That's cute. Love that.
Yeah. I've literally never seen a single movie with SDH on it. But that's good.
Well, it's probably a lot of them. They probably just do that for subtitles now. They're probably just all SDH, because what's the point of having two different types?
So SDH.
Yes, Jeff. Between CC and SDH, the differences are as follows. Jeff?
CC. So text the.
Yeah, no, it's unclear because the subtitles, the closed captioning, which has been a standard forever, should be enough. Which is why we made it a standard.
Subtitles are intended for hearing viewers who do not understand the language. Closed captions, on the other hand, are meant for deaf and hard of hearing audiences. They
It probably writes down like
who's talking, who's talking more, like giving
or
you
like
people's names.
Sounds like if the character walks into the room and the song is playing, it probably says like music is playing or like this song is on, or like
another word
if you
for
hear
closed.
a door slam but it doesn't happen on screen, it probably says door slams, like shit like that.
So closed captions, another word for closed captions are SDH subtitles.
That's good.
It's the same.
So they listed both, but no AD. Okay. Congratulations. Another movie being unaccessible. We applaud you for that. And by applaud,
Well,
I mean
I'm
attack
gonna do
you.
my best.
We're all... Listen, Shy. I can see better than you. No offense. Jeff can see...
You can't. That's
Jeff,
not offensive. That's a fact.
Jeff has good vision. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that we all come to this I've seen this movie before. I'm pretty sure we all come to this movie. It's in English. Okay? We come back to this movie. At least I remember it being in English. We all come back to this movie, and we all don't know what the hell we just watched. So it's going to be
I'm excited. Let's do it.
I will argue that you guys would probably understand the movie more than I would.
I don't think any of us will know what we watched at all. I'm sorry that this one comes.
I'm gonna try really hard.
This one comes after Blade Runner.
Because at least I can expect now. Because Blade Runner, I knew nothing. Like when I tell you I had zero information, all I knew was it was a sci-fi film, and it was old. That's all I had, right? So zero information. At least I'm going in knowing that this is gonna be confusing. So I'll use my brain and like be. It's like when you watch Inception for the first time and everybody's like, hey, don't fucking blink because you're going to miss some shit. I'll just watch it like that and hope. Cross my fingers.
I don't have faith in myself. I'm just going to say it right now how it is. That's how it is, guys.
2001 Space Odyssey is on this list.
Oh, good.
Oh,
good.
It is? Okay.
Okay, good. Because if it was wasting the slot for Blade Runner,
No, if it was wasting a slot for Shaun of the Dead, I'd be really upset.
Shaun of the Dead is on this poster.
I know. I'm mad that Shaun of the Dead is on this movie list at all.
Are there any comedies on this movie list?
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is a
that the
comedy.
only comedy?
No, Life of Brian. Monty Python's Life of Brian.
I can't. I hit the
The
look.
Great Dictator as well.
Oh, okay. I've seen that, I think.
Toy Story.
Toy Story's not a comedy. It is
Boys
a
in the
heartfelt drama.
Pixar movie. They're everything.
Boys in the Hood.
I don't know if that counts as a
I
comedy.
don't know.
Oh, well.
The Truman Show. The Truman Show is on this.
Oh, I love Truman Show.
Yeah,
It's a comedy until it gets scary, and then you're like, holy shit. Like the first time you watch this movie, you're like, what? His whole life is a lie? Like, and then it's not funny anymore.
upcoming movies here on the Flick Network, of course. Thank you for joining us.
Dave, let me read you the first sentence of Toy Story. Toy Story is a 1995 American computer animated comedy film produced by Pixar. It's a comedy.
You
Dave.
are a strange, sad little man. And
all right, sorry.
This is the Flick Network. We watch a new bucket list movie every week. Next week we're watching A Clockwork Orange, so if you'd like to watch along with us, of course, it's available on HBO Max without AD. That's fantastic, and none of us will know what happened because no one knows what happens in this movie, so that'll be fine. Jeff Daly can be followed at Jeffrey Daly on Twitter, at a big FN Jeff on TikTok. He doesn't post anything there, but you can follow him. You can follow me at Tell You Dave. You can follow Shy, Not So Shy, with an X in Shy. It's a cool name. I still don't know if it's real. That's how I feel. We'll see you guys next time here on the Flick Network.
Bye.
Bye. The music didn't play for some reason because that's
wow, cringe.
The Flick Network. We watch watch movies, we talk movies. Your online movie friends, the Flick Network.
The Flick Network is a production of the Snack Network LLC.